Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Shaffey. I'm the department chair here in the political science department at Chapman University, and I'm glad that you're able to join us for a little while so we could introduce you to our department and the major, and respond to any questions that you may have about Chapman generally or specifically political science. Um, oh my, there's more. So I'm going to share a screen in just a moment. But if Kalila, can you see, it says, can you see me? I don't think my camera's working. Let me, there. I'm looking for your name. No, maybe it's a bandwidth issue. Oh, no, no, I can't. Kalila, or is it Kalila? I can not see
It's
you. I can hear you
Kalila.
though. You're unmuted,
Okay.
but it's good to know
Okay,
that you're
let me
there.
try to
Okay,
fix that.
great. So another thing before we begin, Anne, I know I have host privileges and I'm going to need to share a screen, but would you be able to continue to admit people while I'm speaking? I can't hear you, sorry.
I was admitting them, but then the admit button
I still can't hear
disappeared
you.
after you took it over, so I don't know.
It must be on my end.
Well, just go ahead and start.
Oh, just wait. Sorry about this. I've got to figure out why you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Let me turn up the volume.
How's that?
Now I can hear you. Excellent. Okay, I had my speaker disconnected, but now we are set. Okay, so can you still admit people in? Because I see there are more in the waiting room.
I'm sorry, my waiting room button disappeared after you took it over.
Okay,
But um
then I'm just going to admit a few more people. Then I'm just going to have to start talking, I guess. Um, Admit all. Wow, we've got a large group. Okay.
and we can see Kalila now.
Oh yeah, there you are. Hello.
All right, go ahead and start.
Wait, I just had to admit one more person. Okay, we got 45 now. I'm just going to have to start so the rest of you aren't waiting any longer. But if anybody else doesn't get in, perhaps we could do a second talk afterwards. Let me do the share screen thingy. So can you see the slide? Can you see the picture of the Capitol? And welcome to Political Science at Chapman. Please say yes. Ah, okay, great. So, so again, welcome for those of you who just were admitted um, to the um, to the Zoom call. My name is David Shaffey. I'm the chair of political science here at Chapman University, and I'm going to give you some facts about the political science department and an overview of the major, followed by some helpful tips that you may uh, uh, that that may help you think about your options and think about coming to Chapman. Um, so I'm going to start by giving you some. No, that's not right. That's not. Yeah. Okay. It's well, okay. I forgot to select. Yeah. So we have currently around 270 students majoring in political science at Chapman, which it makes it one of the larger majors um, in the college, in the Wilkinson College of Arts and Sciences, and Arts and Social Sciences, as well as at Chapman University as a whole. And we are we we have 16 full-time political science faculty members. In addition to those, we also have some part-time lecturers, some practitioners like professional lobbyists and lawyers will teach a class here and there. But the overwhelming majority of our classes are taught by full-time faculty here at Chapman. Um, and this current semester, we have 36 classes, so 30 of them are taught by full-time faculty. Some facts about the political science department. We are housed in a historic building. Uh, don't have a picture of it, but it's a historic building, which called Roosevelt Hall. It's named after Congressman James Roosevelt, who was the eldest son of Franklin D. and Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a veteran Battle of Midway congressman and represented the area in Congress after World War II. We have a major that gives you, we think preparation for a wide variety of professions. Just a sampling of some of our recent graduates are just people have all kinds of interesting jobs. We have uh, people work in journalism, diplomacy, also local government, the White House, and even uh, well, professional lobbyists and people work in the nonprofit sector as well. Our major is uh, it's yes, I am screen sharing, but okay. So our major is pretty simple and straightforward. We have a few required courses. The core requirements are pretty short, and so you have a lot of latitude to take electives and classes that interest you. You start our major by taking Political Science 101, Introduction to Political Science, which is only open to majors and minors. Then there's Intro to Political Theory and Political Research Design. And besides those courses, there is a required capstone seminar that you take your senior year, either in American politics or comparative/international relations. And then the rest of the major is really up to you to build. We have a number of emphases to choose from. You're required to choose, at least one emphasis and take 15 credits in that emphasis. And those include political economy and policy, American politics, law and justice, quantitative and analytical political science, and security, peace, and conflict studies. And in addition to that, you can take electives just from any subfield that you're interested in for a total of 42 units. And because it's only a 42-unit degree, it's very easy to do a minor or even a double major in political science here at Chapman. Um, yeah, so some frequently asked questions. Can I have more than one emphasis? Yes, you can. You may use those 15 elective credits to select a second emphasis. So you've got a lot of flexibility if you sort of can't decide, or if you have two areas of interest, you can do them both and just count those other classes as your electives. And if you're not sure which emphasis to choose, you can change your emphasis at any time, just as long as you complete the requirements by graduation. And I already said this, yeah, there's a first year requirement to take Political Science 101 and a couple of other required courses, theory, and methods that most students take their sophomore year. And then the rest of it is really, up to you to build the electives. So, and just some helpful tips about our major here at Chapman University is, we've got some really great resources that students take advantage of. We have a Washington semester program, and you can spend the fall or spring semester in Washington doing an internship. They will match you with a federal agency or NGO based in Washington to work with while taking classes through American University, run by the Center for Global Education, for Chapman credit. Um, we also have a great deal of opportunities for research. We have a lot of student faculty research opportunities. Um, because our class sizes are pretty small, you get to know our faculty pretty well, and you have opportunities to work with them. Um, This is a picture from a research conference that some of our students attended recently. And Dr. Ann Gordon, who's going to be speaking next, will talk more about those types of opportunities. And we also have just a lot of like social activities and just ways to sort of build a community and uh, join with like-minded people who are in pre-law, or we have a National Political Science Honor Society as well, Pi Sigma Alpha. So that's my really quick overview of the major and the requirements. So if you have any questions at all, you can ask me, after we're done speaking, or feel free to shoot me an email afterwards if you think of one, and I promise to respond promptly. All right, thank you. So now I'm going to stop sharing and introduce Dr. Ann Gordon, who's going to talk about research opportunities.
Great, thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. You can request sharing is not turned on.
Oh, I have to allow. How
Okay.
about now? It says multiple presenters can share now.
Okay, so everyone should see my screen now. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Let me. There we go. All right, so in addition to being a professor in the political science department, I also run the Henley Lab for Social Science Research, and I'm one of the primary investigators of something called the Chapman Survey of American Fears, and I'll tell you a little bit about those things as we go along. When I'm talking about undergraduate research, what I'm talking about is very distinct from what you might get in a classroom setting. So in a classroom, you think about your mastering an existing body of knowledge. So that's what a textbook is. This is everything we know about the causes of war, for example, or how the Supreme Court works. But when you do research, you are creating knowledge, and that leads to a whole host of benefits to you. It is definitely an aspect of personalized education. You know, when Chapman says that they offer personalized education, I take that very seriously. And to me, there's nothing more personal than working one-on-one with your faculty mentor on research. And the benefits include great career preparation. It helps you to build critical thinking skills, problem solving, intellectual independence. And these all happen to be things that graduate schools are looking for, that law schools are looking for, and that employers are looking for. Someone have a question? Okay. And if you would indulge me for just a moment, I would say how I personally became passionate about mentoring undergraduate research was when I had a student came to me her first year, and she told me that her dream was to go to Harvard Law School. And I told her that's great, but of course I wanted to give her some other ideas just in case she didn't get into Harvard. But she said, no, it has to be Harvard. And I said, well, let's focus on research and try to build up your record that way. And long story short, she got into Harvard, and at her interview, the questions focused entirely about her research and what motivated it and how she benefited from it. And she ended up getting her law degree and a master's degree from the Kennedy School, because I guess a law degree wasn't enough. So that's when had my aha moment, and I realized just how important undergraduate research is. Here at Chapman, we have so many different types of projects that students can do. We've done everything from working on a national survey of what scares Americans in the fear survey, which I'll show you a bit more. And we just recently worked with the National Weather Service on how to better warn people about wildfire, imminent danger from wildfires. Students get to work on research in a variety of ways. So they can collaborate directly with faculty. So sometimes it's a faculty-driven project. The faculty members working on the research and the student is assisting. Other times the student is running the research and it's their project and the faculty member is advising them. And all this can lead to wonderful opportunities to go to conferences, to publications. I even published a book with a student. We have the Chapman Survey of American Fears, which is a national survey now going into its 12th year. It's well known nationally, actually internationally. And the students get firsthand knowledge of not only writing the survey and developing different topics for it, but they get to analyze the data, they can use it for their own projects, and they even get quoted in the media about it, which definitely builds their resumes up. And so a lot of this work happens in the Henley Social Science Lab, but we have many other ways that students can work with faculty on research. And these things I'm talking about too, these are all paid opportunities as well. Students then can put their work in our digital commons and they show their work is really very timely and relevant. And you can see that because you can go to our library website and see the digital commons here that you can see. Here's this student's report was um, downloaded in multiple countries, and we've had tens of thousands of views of student research. This leads to a lot of success. Like I said, it's one of the things that drives my passion for undergraduate research because I see it as being so transformational in a student's education. And our students have gone on to fantastic graduate school and law schools. The students who've gone on to doctoral programs have gotten full ride. They don't pay tuition. They're paid to do research or teaching at their doctoral program. They've gone on to places like Vanderbilt, USC, Georgetown, the London School of Economics. Actually, two went to the London School of Economics. NYU, so many schools, lots of law schools. Of course, our own Fowler School of Law, Boston, Duke, UC, UCLA, Notre Dame. Um, Actually, I need to update that list because I just heard from a few more students. And all of this leads to also really good opportunities for employment. My students have gone on to work, of course, in government, such as the State Department or the Defense Department, but they've also gone on to work in private sector like Dell and Northrop Grumman, which you wouldn't really expect an aerospace firm to hire a political science major, but that's the importance of quantitative methods that we learn here. And of course, they've gone on to be professors, lawyers, and teachers. I just got an email over the weekend from my student who is about to be sworn in as a deputy district attorney, which was her dream when she was in the Henley Lab, and she's super excited. And she said that everything she did in the Henley Lab really helped her not only get into law school, but succeed in law school. So I was excited to get that information over the weekend. So like I said, students work on the Chapman Survey of American Fears. This particular student, um, his study was actually cited here in Psychology Today, and the whole article is about his work, and it was written by a fairly famous psychologist, if you've ever heard of the Stanford Prison Experiment, Philip Zimbardo. He wrote the article about the students' research in Psychology Today. And our student work has been cited by the New York Times, Politico, and other news media as well, which you can imagine really pops out on a resume. This is a acceptance letter from a student from Duke, and I think it really sums up what I've been trying to point out because the law school dean says that they got 5,300 applicants for 225 seats. And that, all of the candidates, they have good test scores, they have good academic records, but it takes letters from people who know the candidates well. And that's what helped this student to get admitted to Duke, which I think is maybe a top 4 law school, like this number 4, which was his particular dream school. And I think that that's the power of mentoring and the power of the relationship that you have with your faculty members here at Chapman, that we can write those kinds of letters. And I like this survey or this letter too from the dean from USC's law school. Said, I hope that authoring the 2020-2021 American Top Fears didn't make you lead to lost sleep. They wrote it down at the bottom of the letter for my student who went there. And I know she just graduated from USC and passed the bar and accepted a job at a great law firm. So she's really happy too. All right, I think that's all I have in terms of slides. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I do want to say that we have 2 of our students here, Madeline Southern. Maddie, give us a wave. Sue, give us a wave. Sue is our peer advisor. Maddie works in the Henley Lab with me. And I don't know if one of you, Maddie, do you want to say something about some recent experiences with the Fear Survey, anything like that?
Yeah, I would love to. So
Thanks.
I'm a senior here working at the Henley Lab. This is my third year that I just started, and the second year I worked on the Fear Survey. It's been a great experience overall. Dr. Gordon is such an amazing mentor, and she, I don't know, cares so much about giving her students experience and also I don't know, just the capability to grow and do things we're interested in. So I worked on the survey over the summer, coming up with the list of top 10 fears and just our overall, like how afraid people were of each of our fears. That was really cool to just see, what the country kind of is thinking right now about what they're afraid of. And then I'm working on my capstone with Dr. Gordon this semester. So it was really nice to go into the semester having already worked with the data and know, kind of what I wanted to explore for my final project for the major.
Thanks, Maddie. And Sue, did you want to say hello and say some things about Chapman? And I also want to point out that both Maddie and Sue are involved in all kinds of campus activities and so you can feel free to ask them all about anything about student life. It doesn't have to be about the major necessarily. So Sue, did you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Soo Jung. I also go by Sue. I'm the peer advisor for political science. I meet with all of or any of the political science majors or minors, particularly to set up 4-year plans for them, to go over course schedules. We just had registration the last 2 weeks. It's still going on, so I've been meeting with a lot of students to plan their spring semester schedule. And I love my job. It's so fun meeting with students and just talking to them. People don't just come for me for advising about political science. I don't have any research experience just yet. I'm a sophomore, but I do have a really close relationship with with my professor who taught Poli Sci 101 my first semester, and I work on an international journal with him. It's called the Silk Roadia. It's for like the Silk Road University Network, and I just got back from a conference last month in Uzbekistan, which was really cool. So even if you don't go into the research um, side of poli sci, like there's still a lot of good opportunities here in the department. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything poli sci related or Chapman related, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sue. I think Professor Shafi, you want to just throw it open for some questions, or people can put them in the chat?
Yeah, so yeah, I want to thank Maddie and Sue for being here to greet our prospective students and talk about the major a little bit. Let me see if we do have let me look through the comments and see if we have some new ones. Uh, for the paid research projects, is work study required or work study award?
No, it's not required. Some students have work study and some don't.
It helps to have work study, but it's not only open to them. When do students typically choose their emphasis? That's yeah, I mean, early on, but it's flexible enough that you can change. Um, usually sophomore year.
Yeah, the
Um,
deadline to choose your emphasis is your sophomore year, but you have a lot of time to decide. You could take classes in any of the emphases and decide through that. I just declared early on in my first semester just because I knew which emphasis I wanted to go into, but you can obviously change it before your sophomore year, just depending on what your interest is.
I see a question about research projects. What kind of research projects have students conducted? It's quite a wide variety. Like I said, we've done work on natural disasters. We've worked with the National Weather Service on wildfire danger. We have students working on issues related to human rights and I'm blanking on what are some other projects going on right now. Oh, the homeless tent encampment project is what Maddie's working on right now. Do you want to talk about that, Maddie?
Yeah, I would love to. So I'm actually in the process of co-authoring a paper with one of the professors in Wilkinson right now. She's a sociology professor, and what I was going to say is one of the things I love about working in the Henley Lab and I know the political science department in general is there's not like a silo. When we have professors working on interesting projects that are also relevant to our field, just because they might not be faculty in political science doesn't stop them from being like people that we can work with. So the professor I'm working with right now, she did like an in-person census of tents when she used to work in Seattle at a university. And now we're kind of doing we already did a Google Maps census to kind of see if we could find the same tents. And so now we're writing a paper together about just, the ways that you can take a census of these tents just to gain more accurate data about homelessness and people experiencing it, specifically tent-based homelessness. And so I'm actually going to a conference with Dr. Gordon in 2 weeks, week and a half, and presenting on it. And there are just a variety of projects you can work on, just depending on what faculty you're doing, what you're interested in, and things like that.
Thanks, Maddie.
And Alice, oh, were you gonna add to it too?
No, I was just gonna say, it looks like there's a question about some of the extracurriculars, honor society, Model UN, all those kinds of things. I think Sue and Maddie can talk about that and talk about like CAPI or that type of thing.
Here, I can go first, Sue. So I know there is usually a mock trial club and Model UN. I haven't been involved with either, but usually every other year, Model UN is offered as a class across 2 different semesters. That's usually cross-listed in peace studies and political science. So the first semester, it's like a 100 credit, I think, and you travel to some regional conference in California. And the second semester, it's an upper division credit, and you travel to the actual UN conference in New York. So this is one of the off years, but it's not offered. So we actually had a group of students come together and create a club so they could still go to the Model UN conferences this year. Beyond that, I'm involved with Kappa Alpha Pi, which is the pre-law professional fraternity. And so that just kind of differs from the society in that you have more of a, I don't know, formal way you need to be involved. You go through a recruitment process and then you have requirements that are a bit heavier than just like casually being a part of a club, but all of that just helps to come together and give you a lot of experience in, I don't know, professional workshops. We do a lot of Zooms with alumni from Chapman who are at law school or connecting with different tutoring services for the LSAT. So yeah, I would say those are the extracurricular curriculars related to the major that I know about and have been involved in.
I have
Oh,
not
good.
been, sorry to interrupt you, but I have not been involved in many extracurricular activities like related to poli sci. Um, I debated rushing Cappy like Maddie was talking about, but my first semester I wasn't really interested in going to law school, and if you aren't, that's totally okay too. There's so many different routes that poli sci can take you in. Um, but yeah, I didn't rush Cappy. I'm still thinking about it, but I say if you have any like desire to go to law school or to be involved in like a bigger organization like Cappy, you definitely should. I know a lot of my friends are in it and they love it, and it's a really good time. I see another question about if a minor can be from a non-emphasis area. I just wanted to clarify, like, if you mean having a minor with poli sci. Um, but if that's what you mean, then yes, poli sci itself is a pretty small major, so a lot of students are minors in all different kinds of fields. If you're interested in economics and business, you can definitely be a minor or a double major in one of those and have political science as well.
Yeah, yeah, let me elaborate. That question is from Jigar Shah, who has the same name as a, a former Department of Energy official in the Biden administration. You probably get that a lot. So uh, there's the area of emphasis within political science, uh, which you can choose from, and you can do one or two of those. But then there are minors, and a minor can be in any field. You can minor in business administration or economics. We have students who minor in environmental studies and dance and Latinx studies. Um, and like I said, and some of those turn into double majors because we have enough flexibility and it's only a 42 unit degree. So you have a lot of opportunities to explore various interests.
You're welcome to ask questions for the students about just life in general at Chapman, what the experience of just being a Chapman student is like if you want, or more questions about the major. We're happy to answer anything like that. Okay, well, I have a question. I want to hear about Sue going to, where did you go with um recently?
So I went to Uzbekistan for the Silk Road University Network 10th General Assembly. The Silk Road University Network is like it sounds, it's a network of universities along the ancient Silk Road. Chapman is a part of it, even though California and the US obviously weren't part of the ancient Silk Road. But the General Assembly is when university delegate, so like a professor, and then they're allowed to bring two student representatives. And I work on the journal as the assistant English editor with my professor. So I was invited to go, and it was in Samarkand, is Uzbekistan, which is such a beautiful place. I've never been. Had I didn't even know where it was on the map, to be honest, before I went. But I met some really incredible people, other students from Tajikistan, like Jordan, Algeria, Italy, just everywhere. And just I was so immersed in all of their cultures. The conference was 3 days, and different lecturers and professors came in and talked about issues related to AI, climate change, and like the humanity in healthcare. So it was super interesting. And then we had like cultural performances and everything from the students from the universities in SummerCon. Yeah, it was such a great experience.
Okay, we
Sounds
have a couple
amazing.
new questions about housing. Is housing tied to colleges or majors, or are freshmen housed with students from all different colleges? Maybe one of our students can explain that.
Yeah, I can answer. So housing is typically, what's it called? Grouped by your college. And so it's just, you're usually what's it called? In a specific room with people from majors in your college. So I was with like a creative writing major and an English major. But other than that, it's like completely random how you get assigned. And beyond that, you'll usually just be in either like a specific hall or even half a hall that is similar people of majors. So even across the hall, it might be someone in a different college, or it might be your entire hall, but right downstairs beneath you is a different college. So you are like close in proximity to people in your major and people in your college, but also nearby to people in different majors and colleges.
Okay, and then now we've got a few more questions. Luca asks, what year would someone be able to participate in the Washington semester program, and what exactly do students do there? Usually students go in their junior year, but I believe a lot of students do study abroad their junior year too. I believe you're eligible your sophomore year as well. And so as far as yeah, what students do, they get paired up or matched up with a government agency or even a nonprofit, or maybe or a news organization. Just there are all kinds of internship opportunities, and you live in housing American University or at American University, and the classes are in the evening. I think you take two classes that count for a political science major credit while you're there. And yeah, and we had students go in the fall and the spring, and it's always been a great experience from what we've heard. Then we have another question from Kalila. I've attended the open house this year. Oh, well, thanks for coming back. They mentioned that, oh yeah, they mentioned that majoring in political science can take as little as 3.5 years. Is that accurate? Well, it is, because a lot of students come in with AP credit, and that if you have a lot of AP credit, that shaves off a lot of time. Some students are, highly motivated, and they take full loads and maybe summer classes. It is pretty common actually for students to graduate in 3.5 years. That's why we have some capstone seminars in the fall, because students will graduate mid-year. But there's no hurry. I think most take 4 years.
Just to add on to that, political science, like we've been mentioning, is only 42 credits, so it is pretty small as a major. And I am a political science major, a women and gender studies minor, and I just added the psychology minor as well, and I'll be graduating a semester early. So that's why we say like it's possible to graduate in 3.5 years just because it's so small. It depends on if you have a double major that is larger, that has more credits. Um, I was going to say something else that I just forgot. But yes, it depends on like the course load that you want to do. If you take advantage of interterm or summer classes, Dr. Shafee was talking about AP credits. I didn't come in with very many. I think I had like 6 credits, and I haven't done interterm, but I do take 6 classes a semester. So it just kind of depends on if you're striving to graduate a semester or a year early. You kind of have to plan ahead for that.
You can also take advantage of the 4+1 program where you, in your senior year, you start double counting your credits towards a master's degree in international studies, and you would only have to do one additional year to get a master's degree. So, or if a student is, graduating more quickly, but you could stay for the full 4 instead of 3.5, if you did 4 or 4+1 is more common, then you get a master's degree in 1 year, which I think is a great opportunity too, if you're interested in international side of things.
Okay, and Allison has a question about funding for conference travel. And do you want to take that as well?
Sure, yeah, there's plenty of conference funding, and you can apply. I think Maddie probably already knows about this more than I do, but you basically, I think there's like one application, and it will cover different pots of money that are available, whether it's from the Associated Students or from the lab or from Wilkinson College. But yeah, if you get accepted to a conference, like let's say the Pi Sigma Alpha, the National Honor Society Conference in Washington, D.C., Chapman will cover your airfare and your conference registration and your hotel and all that. Someone asked if we're sharing a recording of this webinar. I think the university department that set this up has a recording, and we'll let them know that people are asking for it. So I know that they're recording it. So I don't know exactly where it's going to be made available, but we'll find out and let you know.
That's all the questions we have for now, apparently. So I guess if there are no others, I guess we'll thank you for your time. And I just want to remind everyone that, you can reach out to me anytime. My email is right there on the, no, it's not. I have to share it again, but my email is right there on the screen. And feel free to reach out at any time, and we'd be happy to engage you more and to discuss our wonderful college and our wonderful major with
And
you.
we'll be happy to hang out for a few more minutes if anyone wants to talk one-on-one as we end the session. So we'll hang out and see if anyone has any more questions. Thanks, everyone. It was great meeting you.